I mean, it's not the tidiest prospect. There definitely is a real possibility of failure. We're testing ideas that aren't mainstream concepts. They're not something you can pick up off the shelf at Home Depot or what have you. We're really looking to researchers and to vendors across the spectrum to see what the future of cities might be.
Welcome to Internet of Nature Live. I'm here on top of the New York City Parks Citywide Services rooftop, a green roof that is the most biodiverse in all of America, with my guest, Max Lerner, founder of the emerging tech team here at New York City Parks. Hey, Max.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
So, you grew up in New York City.
Yep.
How does one cultivate their love for nature growing up in a big city like this?
I would say it's more so the lack of nature in New York City that makes urbanites really fond of the prospect of nature. The grass is greener type thing. Definitely made me, although we have amazing parks, want to see more nature in the city.
You're a nature lover, that's for sure, but you're also definitely not shy about using technology.
Of course.
Those two passions came together to found the emerging tech team. What is the emerging tech team, and why do you feel like New York City Parks needed an emerging tech team?
The NYC Parks Emerging Tech Team is essentially a think tank, both duly acting as a way for the Parks Department, which is the city's largest landowner. We own over 14% of the city by area, over 1,000 buildings, over 30,000 acres of real estate, which is just an unfathomable figure from like the urbanite in the box perspective. We have the footprint, and we, of course, are taking care of the lion's share of nature assets. So we have that great geographic disbursement. And then from the tech side of it, the tech team is a think tank that's looking to the horizon of emerging ideas and best practices nationally and internationally, what technologies might be feasible, piloting those all across the sites. And it also acts as a really strong stepping stone for professionals to get into this field. It makes the sciences a lot more accessible by offering internships for people to help us in this journey as we learn, and we learn on behalf of the public what might be feasible for the future of urban cities.
Right. And I'm pretty sure the emerging tech team of New York City Parks is the first of its kind in any kind of municipality.
It's possible.
And that might even offer a bit of a metaphor for kind of the adoption of technology in this field in general. Why do you think environmental sector agencies have been resistant to adopting technology in the past?
I mean, it's not the tidiest prospect. There definitely is a real possibility of failure. We're testing ideas that aren't mainstream concepts. They're not something you can pick up off the shelf at Home Depot or what have you. We're really looking to researchers and to vendors across the spectrum to see what the future of cities might be. And with that comes a degree of risk. It's usually more expensive because these are newer ideas that still are being prototyped. There's a potential that these things won't work in application or won't work for a long time or won't work for our purposes. But that even in that risk of failure, there's value, because as a city agency, why I think it's really important that someone like Parks does this work, because we are an unbiased and unmonetized public agency, we are forced by nature to share all our data with anyone who wants it. We are funded by the city, and we can really learn and share our knowledge from a platform that builds a lot of confidence in this field. It helps sort out this kind of confusing metrics of what is and isn't feasible, because we're dealing with a lot of things that your every person hasn't heard of before. Give confidence that they're real, show them in person to really actualize that this stuff can and should be in cities, and also at the same time help show which ones maybe aren't the right match. Right. And do that from a very ethical place, because we have no incentive to promote this, that, or the other thing as a city agency. The budget doesn't change based on what we do or don't do in terms of adopting technology.
Right. Just rapid fire.
Please.
What is one technology that you think, yes, has a ton of potential in this space? And what is one technology that you've tried and you're like, maybe not yet?
Is green roofs possible to be an answer?
I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, barring green roofs, technology that I think has a lot of potential in the urban environment is in-vessel composting. I think decentralized composting is a really great idea, and rapid mechanized composting could really process a lot of organic waste very quickly, very efficiently. Something that still hasn't really gotten there, and that I'm working very actively with a lot of my team, is battery tech. I think, in theory, it would be great, especially in terms of the resiliency piece, to have power under any circumstance, rain or shine, chaos or not, that we have that power on deck no matter what. But we just haven't been able to get the paybacks. We haven't been able to get the durable enough battery systems that will last long enough to really make it make sense. It still almost makes more sense to have your solar and other alternative energy systems just be grid tied for now.
Right.
But we're still trying.
Right. Yeah. And the answer could just be, it's cool, but just not yet.
Yeah.
It's not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most sustainable technologies. Solar panels at one point were that.
Mm-hmm.
Green roofs at one point, I'm sure, were that. It takes time to get all the kinks out.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, one of the technologies that we're both really excited about are green roofs, and especially biodiverse green roofs, and talk about being able to provide a showcase for the people of New York and internationally from all over the world. We're standing on the most biodiverse green roof in all of America right now. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. This facility has been coming along since 2006. It is a public space. We give tours most days of the year except in the dead of winter because there's very little plants to look at. It is approximately 50 different types of green roofs crammed onto the same rooftop. So just visually you can see a clash of different plants here. That's not just because the plant palette is diverse, it's also because the systems themselves are very diverse. It's an unconventional design. It is not an economical design. It also makes the maintenance complex. But we do this inviting, understandably so, that chaos because it's really powerful for demonstration. We're showing all these systems side by side in perpetuity as kind of a learning library. So it helps to really visualize and actualize the broad spectrum that green roofs actually exist in. People in theory say, oh, I'm considering a green roof building. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's too heavy. And they're not really dialing into how big of a field green roofs are, how it's as flexible as you're building an ecosystem. It's as flexible as that is in your imagination. So we really try to actualize that here on the space.
Right. Well, we're going to take a little tour around it later. When I'm on top of this green roof, I'm immediately confronted with, why do we not have this everywhere? And I know right now, as the recent estimate is that 0.1% of all roofs in New York City across the 5 boroughs have a green roof on them, 0.1%.
Yep.
Why is that not more?
Yes, about 1 million buildings in New York, give or take. There's about 700 and change that have green roofs. It's hard. I mean, we've done it. We're in a unique position to do that, both because we're a city agency, both because we have perpetual ownership over our buildings, because we have all these in-house experts, because we have trade teams. It's complex. The incentive structure is not always set up for every person at this current moment, but it's definitely gotten a lot better over even just the past few years in terms of what paybacks there are. I think a lot of it, probably the biggest piece that we've come to realize is education. It's just like I previously mentioned, people have a very linear idea of what green roofs are, and because of that, they have very linear concerns. Oh, it's going to be too heavy. Oh, it's going to cause leaks. Oh, it's going to cost too much. And it's like, it could, but you could also design those things out. You can design around those problems. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is just having spaces like this, more spaces like this, these touchstones where people can really, oh, wow, cool. I guess maybe this isn't such a radical idea. It's feasible.
What would you say would be your biggest piece of advice to someone working in a municipality or working in the urban greening space that was interested in applying more emerging technologies but didn't quite know where to start?
I mean, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, but I would say there's too much compartmentalization and segmentation in what is arguably kind of the same battle, making cities, making the country, making the world more sustainable. So lean on your peers. Just because I'm not part of the California Parks Department doesn't mean they can't work together with me. I think there's a lot to learn. And this is one of the reasons why our team's able to be so efficient, is because we have so many people in this think tank. There's approximately 100 different rotating members. We're researching, we're looking online, we're seeing what papers are coming out, we're seeing what other cities are doing, we're seeing what other countries are doing. When we broaden our minds to see that we're not in this battle alone to make the planet a better place, to make it a more sustainable, resilient place, it really helps that fight, in that we're able to learn from others and learn from each other's successes and failures.
And providing that room for experimentation. That sounds like, that for me is one of the key takeaways. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you for showing us around, Max.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.